Welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be a new try to get ready with me. I wanted to use some products that I got recently in my Beautylish Lucky Bag, like the Natasha Denona Roxa palette, a Wayne Goss lip gloss. I also have a few new products that I hauled from my last PR haul, like the Lawless Forget the Filler foundation. I also have like a new mascara from Physician's formula, and then a few products that I also pulled into my Shop My Stash bag that I did for February. So I have the Ilia Beauty bronzer, also the Singe Beauty concealer. So I'm just going to be getting ready while I talk about pink collar jobs. Now, I honestly have not heard of pink collar jobs until the last couple of weeks. I've been seeing this trending on TikTok. And as I started to look into it a little bit more, I thought maybe it was just a trend that was popping up. But the more I looked into it, the more interesting I thought it was. And I thought it would make for a good conversation piece. So let me get you zoomed in and we will get started. All right, so first up, I'm going to try out the Lawless foundation. This is the Forget the Filler Skin Plumping Line Smoothing Foundation. Now, I was saying in my recent new makeup releases video where I was talking about new product releases and also some of the trends that I am seeing for 2025 and think that we're going to see for 2025. I did mention this foundation and I said that I was going to try it, but I was a little bit worried about the shade matching. This to me, they sent me 3 shades and I think 12M is going to be like the best one, but I'm not sure that it's going to be great for me. So we'll just see. I can at least still try it out and give you my thoughts on how it feels, how it wears, and all of those things. But I didn't want to pull it into my Shop My Stash for the month of February because I just wasn't sure about the shade matching on this one. This is also supposed to be a more full coverage foundation. So for me, for someone who prefers a little bit more light to medium, I am going to use a damp sponge to apply it. Typically, I do a brush. I have a lot of foundation brushes that I really love, but for this month I am going to pull in the Morphe sponge into my Shop My Stash bag, and then I think this will be my preferred way with the Lawless foundation. So I just hauled a few Morphe products recently. They sent me a brush set, and then they also sent me a trio of tools, including this sponge and then like a puff and then like a smaller little puff as well. I did just go for a walk, so I applied some foundation. I think I'm going to apply this to my hand and pick it up from there. This does appear to be a very liquidy foundation. If you can see it kind of moving all over my hand here. And I'm just gonna like kind of start small and build my way up. Like I was saying, I did just go for a walk and I did apply some sunscreen right before that. I used the It Cosmetics Hello Sunshine. Okay, I think this shade is quite warm right away. That's kind of some of the feedback that I've been seeing about the shades for this one, is that it does appear to be very warm. So I'm a little bit concerned. I have plans tonight. I'm going to see Mariah Carey in concert in Vegas, which I'm super excited about. So I'm hoping we can make this makeup look still work out. But I did grab the Sigma Beauty concealer duo. It has a lighter shade and a darker shade, and I was thinking I might be able to you know, do a little something with that concealer duo to make sure that we can have the foundation match. But if you can tell, like I can already see like quite a difference between my face and neck, so I'm definitely going to bring the foundation onto my neck as well. First thoughts though, I feel like having the sponge is the right move. I feel like a brush would have felt way more full coverage and a lot more heavier on the skin. Whereas right now, honestly, I feel like this is blending out quite nice. I wanted to zoom you in even more so you can really see. So I do have combo skin and I have more acne prone skin, or like acne scarring and redness especially. So to me, with applying it with the sponge, I honestly don't think that it seems so full coverage. And then seeing that it was described as so full coverage and seeing how liquidy it was, I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I think sometimes with my full coverage foundations, when they come out, they're like a little bit thicker. But I will say, for using a smaller amount and using the sponge, I actually think that looks pretty decent on my skin. Now, how is it gonna wear? How is it gonna hold up? I'm not sure. I'm filming this around 1 p.m. and the concert tonight doesn't even start until 8. So I'll be able to give it a pretty decent wear test tonight. And, you know, I'll probably be like dancing and sweating and all the things. So I'm very curious to see how it holds up. But honestly, like I feel even right now, I feel like sometimes there's my other like skin tints or lighter coverage foundations that actually cover a little bit more than this. Like honestly, like I think my Urban Decay Face Bond gives me a little bit more coverage. Now that could just be because I did a light hand and the sponge and everything, but so far I'm not mad at it. And I feel as the shade match, like when I first put it on this cheek, I was like, I'm not sure if that's gonna work out, but blending it out, I think the shade match is pretty decent so far actually. Okay, I'm a lot happier. I kind of went into this being a little unsure about it, but first thoughts, I'm not super mad, but we'll see how we go as we, it usually takes me a while to film and get ready with me, so we'll see how time progresses, and then I want to see how it wears throughout the night. So I'm going to use the Singe Beauty concealer. I'm going to use the lighter side here for my under eyes, and then I grabbed out the Makeup by Mario dual-sided brush in my Shop My Stash bag. But like I mentioned in the beginning, I wanted to talk about pink color jobs. About 2 weeks ago, I saw a TikTok pop up of a girl doing reformer Pilates, and it said like, my view as I'm at my pink color job. And it's, you know, her on the reformer Pilates machine. And I was like, okay. And then the TikTok algorithm is wild. You can literally watch one video and then that like tells the algorithm like, oh, you're interested in that. And then the next 10 videos that I watch, 7 of those 10 videos are on that same thing, right? So all of a sudden I'm getting inundated with pink color videos and I'm like, whoa. And so I see like hairstylists being like how it feels to work a pink color job and make women feel beautiful all day long. And I'm like, oh, great. And then I see another one about being a massage therapist and she's going to her pink color job. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. My first thought was like, oh, this is just kind of like a trending thing. Because, you know, we hear of like blue collar jobs, which typically relates to more jobs that are like manual labor. We also hear white collar jobs, office, executives, things like that. And then I'm seeing pink color jobs and I'm thinking, oh, this is something that someone just coined, right? This is kind of like a trending thing. And it means jobs like traditionally held by women or for women. That was kind of one of my thoughts too. Maybe it's a job that it's like, oh, we do things that are kind of specific towards women. And, you know, because I'm seeing like the hairstylist, I'm seeing like the reformer Pilates, the like get your body back after having a baby, that sort of thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, like how cute, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe that would be like a fun conversation piece. I do have my laptop in front of me because I'm going to be reading you some stats along the way. But to my surprise, pink collar jobs is not a new term. So the lesser known concept of pink collar jobs likely originated in the 1940s during World War II, when women entered the labor force in large numbers. Louise Kapp Howe, an author who focused on social issues, popularized the term in the late 1970s when she wrote about nurses, secretaries, and teachers, industries dominated by women at the time. Well, when I tell you I felt a little silly, I'm just being honest, I felt a little silly that I'm over here thinking it's a social media trend, like cherry cola lips, you know, like I'm thinking that's what it is. And I'm like, oh, this is actually a term and this is actually a well-known thing. I felt a little silly. And as I saw that, I was like, this makes me want to look into it a little bit more. I am taking that lighter shade because again, the Lawless foundation, just a little bit warm, just a little bit. So I'm putting it on like the high points, like kind of like right in the center of my face. I feel like that will kind of help pull it all together. Right? Of course, I've always heard about the gender pay gap, and you know, we hear about things like the pink tax. Like I grew up hearing about the pink tax and how women are charged more on products like feminine products, even razors, deodorant, things like that. Those are typically higher priced than what, you know, the male deodorant and the male body wash and all of those things, right? So that's what really spurred me to think, I want to sit down and I want to kind of have a conversation on this because I don't feel very educated on it. Again, I'm over here saying I thought pink collar jobs was a TikTok trend, and turns out it's something that's been well known. And not to say that I'm a genius and I know absolutely everything, because I definitely don't, but I was like, oh, this makes me want to just kind of spread the word more. For my brows, I'm using the Benefit Mighty Fine Brow Pen. So this is their triple tip pen. I just had this in my last PR haul, and a lot of you said that you wanted to see it, and I'm a little bit intimidated. Like, why the nights that I'm like really doing the most, I go for it with new products. But I'm gonna take the Precisely My Brow and just kind of spoolie my brows up and into shape here. And then you're supposed to just be able to like flick your brows, and it's Supposed to do something. I have shade 2.5. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of lightly start. So I think for like my actual brow, I'm more just like putting the product sideways and kind of filling in from there. And that seems to be working out just fine. And then at the front here, I'm gonna take it flat. I'm gonna make the little hair-like strokes in the front. And then take the triple tip and kind of push up. And see if we can create those hair-like strokes. I feel like it filled in my actual brow really fast. I don't think I'm having as much luck in the front here, but I think something's happening. Now I have more defined brows, so a lot of times for me, a pencil works just fine. I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if this would work good for people that don't have as defined brows, but like, I just feel like the front, I don't like the front. Like it filled in the rest fine and was quick. This is the brow that's a little bit more sparse. But yeah, having it flat and just kind of running the brows like this, it's filling them in quick and easy. And then turning it vertical. Because I think I'm supposed to be doing like the feathered brow look, which is not really my thing. Like I've never really been a big like feathered brow girl. But yeah, something in the front is not working out for me. I like how fast it is everywhere else. And the 2.5 is my normal shade that I use for the brows. But I just, the front is not happening. Okay, well, that's interesting. So I'm gonna use just the Benefit Precisely My Brow to fill in the front. Because I just don't, I just feel like nothing's really happening. It's like I just kind of took a pen, which is what I did, to the front of my brows. So I'm just gonna take the pencil. I kind of wish I could have gotten it to work better on the front because I like how fast it filled everything else in. I mean, I don't feel like this is gonna be a bad product to have in my bag. I can easily like fill in this area right here and then just grab another pencil. But like, honestly, I'm not really like a 1-2 type of girl. Like I don't even really do like a brow gel or anything. I usually just do one brow product and I'm pretty fine. I'll keep trying it. If you've tried it and you have any tips for me, let me know. But I just feel like that looks better just using the pencil to fill it in the front. So, okay, it's not terrible. It might just be user error, but we'll keep trying. A few other interesting points when I was doing some research on the pink collar jobs. One says, take a look at jobs with the highest percentages of women in the 1940s. 90% or more of the nurses, midwives, telephone operators, secretaries, domestic service workers, and boarding housekeepers in the 1940s were women, according to the 1940 Census of Population. Now, in the recent years, data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that the top 6 pink-collar jobs largely center around childcare and healthcare industries. They include preschool and kindergarten teachers, 99%, dental hygienists, 96%, speech-language pathologists, 96%, dental assistants, 95%, childcare workers at 93%, and medical records and health information technicians, and that is at 93%. Other occupations with high percentages of women today include medical assistants, 93%, hairstylists, 92%, dietitians and nutritionists, also 92%, licensed practical and vocational nurses, 91%, and teacher assistants, 90%. This just kind of goes back to like, I feel so, I don't want to say I feel silly. I don't think that there's anything wrong with just not being aware or being educated in certain things. We can't all know everything, right? But as I'm doing this research and I'm seeing all these things pop up, I go back to thinking like, I really thought pink collar jobs was like such a cutesy term that it had to be something that was new and trending on social media, and it meant things like the reformer Pilates teacher and massage therapist and the hair's all amazing. You know, because I'm thinking even for myself as a content creator, I was like, I should do a video like showing my makeup collection and being like going off to my pink collar job. But there's actually so much more behind it. There's so much more depth behind it. And there's also so much disparity between pink collar jobs and how they're being held by women and more in the service-based areas. And again, going back to the pay gap, okay, I'm going to use my Ilia Beauty bronzer. This is in Drawn In. I'm using the Sigma F44 Powder Sculpt to apply this. But this says the difference between blue and pink color jobs is that pink color jobs typically hire women. Now keep in mind, while gender stereotypes and bias are involved with these titles, you can work in many pink color jobs as a man and blue color jobs as a woman. And then of course, I want to add on, we don't just have male and female. Honestly, in my research, I couldn't find a lot when it came to pink collar jobs, white collar jobs, blue collar jobs. I typically was just seeing male and female or men and women being referenced. I wasn't seeing much outside of those two genders. That is just something that I wanted to point out. But of course, too, we go into these statistics. The number of women holding at least a bachelor's degree has surpassed that of men for 20 years, and yet the wage gap has remained steady. Their income lags from the onset of their careers, and then it falls even farther as compared to men's wages over time. The pay gap between college-educated women and men is no narrower than that between women and men without college degrees. In 2022, 48% of women held at least a bachelor's degree as compared to 41% of men. The US median hourly earnings in 2022 were $20.60 an hour for women and $25 an hour for men. The wage gap remains even wider for women of color and older women. In the US, Hispanic women bring home 65% of the median hourly earnings of white men. Black women fare only slightly better at 70%. White women earned 83% as much as their white male counterparts. Asian women had the narrowest gap at 93%. This says part of the pay gap relates to the overrepresentation of women in lower paid sectors such as teaching, nursing, retail, childcare, and hospitality, though the media industry should certainly not count itself immune from this issue. That I thought was very interesting. This is a chicken or egg scenario, says this article. While the concentration of women in these fields might indicate more women feel drawn to helping professions, that's in quotes, it may also represent a long-standing societal devaluation of work traditionally associated with women. Pink-collar jobs are critical to society, representing some of the labor hardest to outsource, but tend to garner low pay due in part to stereotypes of women's work and women's wages as merely supplemental. And this, I felt, was where I really wanted to come in and have this discussion, because as I was reading and as I was researching, I found myself, I just kept scratching my head. You read about some of the sectors that have the highest amount of women: teaching, nursing, retail, childcare, hospitality. Yet some of those are the lowest. We talk about teachers all the time and how little teachers are paid, and also sometimes how many little benefits that teachers have, and what is on the shoulders of teachers these days, what they have to provide for their classrooms and for their students and all of these things, but their paychecks do not represent that. That to me was very fascinating. And I also did appreciate that article pointed out that, social media is still considered a newer profession and a newer career. There's a lot of research on it. There's a lot of statistics out there on it, but it's still kind of a newer thing. And so I appreciated that the article pointed out that the media industry shouldn't be immune to that either, which I definitely agree with. Okay, I think this bronzer is really quite beautiful. For blush, I'm going to be using my collab that I did with Ofra Cosmetics. This one is in Chick Lit. I'm going to be focusing mostly on the matte side and then popping my brush a little bit into the shimmer side. I'm using the Singe Beauty F01 for this one. But going back to, I wanted to kind of touch on the different shades of collars. Many jobs are described by the collar a person wears. In corporate events, you often see white collars. In policing, you often see blue collars. And in industries that serve compassion or care, like esthetician or nursing, you'll often see pink collars. This goes on to say, pink collar jobs refer to the job in the caregiving or service sector, where women are the primary gender working in the role. And also in some of the articles that I saw, it was also saying not only are women primarily the ones working in the role, but they are also providing services to mostly women. Again, men are also included, transgender also included, but the the primary is that they are also servicing or helping, in some way, primarily women. These types of jobs often have lower salaries than white collar jobs or blue collar jobs. So going into white collar jobs, these are jobs that pay high salaries and often entail working in an office. People in these roles often wear a white collar in the workplace. White collar jobs include roles like executives, doctors, dentists, and so on. Go over to blue collar jobs. Blue collar jobs are jobs that require manual labor. These blue collar jobs typically hire men. Okay, not always, but just typically hire men. For example, police officers, technicians, postal workers, and so forth. I'm just going to set everything with my Benefit powder, and I'm just going to keep using my sponge from Morphe. Those are just a few stats that I wanted to share with you for this video, a few things that I thought were very interesting. Again, for me, just kind of figuring out that pink collar jobs is not a trend and that it is something that is well known, kind of understanding a little bit more what pink collar means and what it means compared to white collar and blue collar. Honestly, I've always kind of heard of blue collar jobs. White collar to me is still something that's a little bit newer, and I wasn't exactly sure what that term meant, but now how the articles were explaining, and maybe I'm literally the only person in the world, like I'm kind of nervous about this video because I feel like everyone's gonna be like, Samantha, you didn't know that? You living under a rock? But again, not every person can know absolutely everything. And when you find something, I think this is a good reminder for me of like, when I find something that seems a little bit interesting to me or makes me think, I'm not exactly sure what that's about, just taking a few minutes, I mean, it took me more than a few minutes to like try to put everything together for this video, but in the scope of things, just spending a few minutes like researching something, Googling something, reading a few articles, fact checking those articles that you're reading to see if like multiple things are saying the same thing, but maybe you'll really learn something. And for me, sadly, I think what I learned is that I'm still a little bit frustrated by our system. Now, I am someone who lives in the US, so this could, of course, vary by the countries that you live in. But I know for me, it was just a little bit frustrating because we always talk about the gender wage gap. Not only that, but just minimum wage in general is. But I am very curious to get your thoughts. Did you know what a pink collar job was? Do you consider yourself to have a pink collar job? I guess at the end of the day, I do. I am a full-time content creator and primarily in the beauty space, also in the book space. And so for those, my audience is primarily women. And I can see that through my analytics. I think it's always been in the 90s percentage of, female viewers that watch me on YouTube, female Instagram accounts that follow me and that sort of thing. So for me, I would definitely think of myself as having a pink collar job. And this job is something that I'm really proud of because I've been able to see throughout the 10 years, I've published 9 novels and I've been able to get some really great feedback from women who have read my books and who have read about strong female characters who have done what they're not supposed to do. And they don't just go after a happily ever after that includes meeting the love of their life and settling down, and women who have gone through hard things and made tough decisions. And I've been able to see women be able to resonate with my books like that. And then through doing social media, I've been able to help facilitate real friendships and real communities through videos, through comment sections, through memberships, through book club, through trips that I did. I took 19 trips last year and a handful of those were community-based trips. And I get messages all of the time from women who have gone on those trips saying how helpful they were and how much it meant to them that they now have what they consider to be a support group and a community and people that they can talk to on a regular basis. And that means a lot to me. And of course, we think about makeup, I think about hair tips, I think about makeup tips, I think about tips when I was going through PCOS and how that changed and showing before and afters and what I've done and healthy recipes. I really feel like I have been able to touch my audience, who is primarily women. I've been able to touch them in so many ways and help in so many ways. I'm very proud of this career. I know some people, might look at a job as a content creator and think it's just like a fluffy job and you just take pictures of yourself for the internet, or you just talk to a camera all day and there's no depth to it. But I think that this job has so many layers to it, and I think that it has a lot of depth to it. And I do think of it as a pink collar job where, yes, a lot of people I know in this space are women, but I also know that I'm talking to a lot of women. And I hope that I've been able to help through my videos, through my books, through my posts, through sharing my life's journey from being so far in financial debt and getting out of it, from leaving a bad marriage that wasn't a good situation for me and showing what it looks like to start over, to battling something like PCOS and how I was able to take control of my health again, going through a grief journey after I lost my dog to cancer. I'm gonna start jumping into the Natasha Denona Roxa palette. Again, I'm super excited that I got this in my Beautylish lucky bag, but as I wrap up my my thoughts on this, I do want to jump into the eye look. I think taking the time to make this video and kind of reflecting on my own career and what I've been able to do, it really did make me very proud. And I think for me, reading all of this and seeing things of you know, pink collar jobs being service-based jobs, community-based jobs, caring jobs, all of those things, from nurses and technicians, dental hygienists, like it said, to careers like estheticians, massage therapists, nail techs, and then over to, of course, like teachers. That made me really think that one thing that I have seen for so long when it comes to other women is their desire to help other women. And I see that so much. I see it through social media. I see it through books. I see it through women just talking to one another. I see it through the generations of women in the family and sharing our stories and wanting to help and wanting to teach and educate and all of those things. And I think that it's so beautiful. Back to being frustrated with the wage gap. I go back to being frustrated of the way women and other genders are treated and like we're not as important or not as valued, when we show over and over and over again how much we care about other people, how much we want to help other people, how much we want to support other people. And of course, there's bad people everywhere. There are bad women everywhere and all of the things. But kind of looking at these percentages and these statistics, it just reminded me all over again that there really is such this desire of women helping women, and it makes me really proud of my career. And I hope whatever it is you do, whether it's a pink collar job, a white collar job, blue collar job, purple, I don't know, what other color jobs do we have? What am I missing? But I hope that you are proud of your career. And even if sometimes other people try to make you feel that way or feel like it's not as important or as beneficial or whatever, I hope that you are able to do what I did and you're able to sit down for a few minutes and really think and reflect and feel happy with what it is that you do. Because for me, it is something that I am proud of. So that's where I'm really going to wrap up my thoughts on pink collar jobs, what I've learned, what it made me feel, what it made me think about. And we'll just kind of jump into the eye look here. But of course, very curious to get your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, where we kind of have a topic to discuss, it's something that I just find a little bit thought-provoking and interesting, please do let me know, because I would be happy to do more like this. Honestly, don't really have much of a look in mind. I've just kind of like playing with the colors that kind of drew out to me. Obviously, I want to do something a little bit more purple, and I think purple is really pretty with green eyes. I think the shirt that I'm wearing tonight for the Mariah Carey concert is just Flutter. I should use the shade Flutter right here, this shimmer, because I'm wearing like a butterfly shirt. It's black, but it's like, it's all pieced together by these like butterfly clips. It's so cute. And then my friend's wearing a shirt that like literally looks like a butterfly. So, you know, Mariah Carey, I think butterflies. So we're going with the butterfly theme. So when I see the shade Flutter right here, and I love doing a shimmer, so this is what we are going to put down. Yep, this is the right choice. This is the right choice. Oh, I'm so happy. If you missed my Beautylish lucky bag, I was saying that I was so excited to get this palette, and I feel like whoever packed my bag literally packed it just for me, because it had so many products. Like, it had a scalp serum in there, and I've been on a hair care journey. I've been doing really well with it, I think. Hair oiling has really been making a difference for my hair regrowth, hair journey that I'm on. It also had acne patches, which again, I mentioned being more acne prone. Oh, I forgot my Singe Beauty brush. I have new brushes from Singe Beauty. So I just mentioned these in my last Will I Buy It video. So for the shimmer brush, I'm using the E09. So I forgot about the Sonia G, but that's okay. We'll use that another time as well, I'm sure. But Singe Beauty just came out with an expansion set of their eye brushes. And this one is so nice for that shimmer shade. And I've also been really excited for this liner brush. So I'm gonna use, I think the shade Eclipse, and then I wanna do a little bit of liner here as well. I love like the angle to this one. So we're just gonna do a little bit of liner. This is gonna be great for those of you who like love liner, but maybe you're not super great with it yet. Like a brush like this is going to be so helpful, and I think this is so pretty. I also did not get much fallout with that Natasha shade, and I don't use like, listen, I am so, honestly, in my opinion, I'm very low maintenance when it comes to my makeup. I don't use like glitter glues or like anything like that. I just go right in. But I do have more dry eyelids, so totally understand if you have more oily eyelids, that maybe that's not gonna be the journey for you. But this brush just makes it so easy, and you can purchase the brushes as the set, or you can get them individually. But I love to do just a little bit of liner with eyeshadow. And it's so easy. And if you go like a little bit too heavy or like anything like that, it's super easy to just clean up, easy peasy, using my Milk Makeup eyeliner. But I was saying with the Roxa palette that I purchased it from the Natasha Denona website, and it said that it shipped. Like I got a shipping confirmation, and then a few days later it was like, your order's been canceled. And I was like, oh no. So I ended up not getting the palette, and I was super sad about it. And then I got it in my Beautylish Lucky Bag, and I was like, okay, seriously, like whoever did this bag was like, I got you, Samantha. I was super excited to get this. One more thing that I just want to say, because literally when I was having dinner with my partner last night, like I brought this up because I was like, I knew this. Actually, I want to double check my year because I want to say this correctly. So I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts when I was cold plunging the other day, and it is Net Worth and Chill. I was with Netflix. Net Worth and Chill. It's by Vivian too. I've mentioned the book Rich AF multiple times. I love this book. I think it's very helpful for women or other minorities when learning about finances, financial freedom, those sort of things, because the way our system is set up is to benefit a white male. So I think it's very beneficial. I love listening and reading and seeing Vivian's content on finance. I also listen to the Financial Feminist or Tori with her first 100K. That I always think is really interesting as well. But as I'm listening, I'm in the cold plunge, so I'm like super cold and I'm just like going numb, right? And then I hear them say something about how women couldn't apply for like lines of their own credits until sometimes in the 1970s. Or actually, was this Vivian or was this Tori? I might be mixing them up, but I recommend both. Recommend both. They both have novels out there as well. I will link them in my description box. But I heard them say, you know, my parents were alive and well during this time, but my mom couldn't apply for credit without my dad's signature. And I was like, I know that I've heard this. I know that I've heard this stat. I know that I knew it was sometime in the 70s. But still, when you hear it, it is kind of like a stark reminder of things. So women were able to apply for credit cards in their own names after the Equal Credit Opportunity Act was passed in 1974. Before the ECOA, women often needed a man's signature to get a credit card. Before 1974, it was legal for lenders to deny credit based on gender. Women were also often asked intrusive questions, such as if they were married or planned to have children. Single, divorced, or widowed women had to have a man co-sign for their credit application. I'm going to use the little brush that just came out. This is the E11. This is one that I was also really excited for with the Singe release. But the ECOA made it illegal for banks to discriminate in lending based on sex and marital status. It was signed into law by President Gerald Ford on October 28th of 74. They also prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, national origin, age, or receipt of public assistance, and it made it easier for women to exercise financial independence and build their financial power. What I also thought was really interesting was hearing this podcast interview, and the gal that she was interviewing was saying there actually became a point in time where banks realized that women were more likely to pay back their loans, pay off their credit cards. They were more likely to do that than men. So banks actually realized that they were missing some ideal clientele in there. Thought that was very interesting because, you know, of course, when you apply for a line of credit, when you apply for a credit card, you apply for a mortgage, any of those things, they look at a lot of different factors. In the US, we have our credit scores, which also doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, but we have a bunch of different factors that they look at. And are you a good candidate? Are you going to be able to pay it back? And all of those sort of things. So it was funny because, again, the woman that she was interviewing, who went on to start a bank kind of specifically for women, I believe it was called Sequin Bank. She essentially was saying that, you know, businesses and banks don't always, they're not doing things out of like the goodness of their heart. Yes, we have this act passed, which makes it illegal, of course. But even when looking at certain lending qualities and that sort of thing, they knew that they were most likely not going to go into like default on the loans and that sort of thing. So they were starting to give women more and more of these opportunities, which means that we can build our own financial independence. But that was very interesting to me because, again, my mom was alive and well in 1974. And so it kind of sparked a lot of thoughts for me as well. And I brought it up at dinner the other night because I just couldn't get it out of my mind. And then it made me think about knowing that I was doing this video and the pink collar jobs and pink tax and just all of those things. It just really made me feel a lot of ways. So really, I just wanted to sit down and make this video, give you some statistics, give you some things that I've learned in my research, and kind of hear your thoughts on it. And also to really recommend those books and those podcasts. I think I love listening to them. But I am trying my best to get out this Physicians Formula mascara. So this is their Butter Bronzer Mascara. So it's a brown mascara. It's supposed to be a rich bronze shade, but it's keratin infused. It's supposed to give you full-blown volume and length. Well, then let's try it out. But Physicians Formula, I'm very intrigued by the brand as of recently. Got a pretty full wand here. I just spoke about them in my Will I Buy It video as well. And I was talking about one of the trends for 2025 that I feel is like the return of the contour and also shaping products. Like Maybelline was coming out with their lifter sticks. Rare Beauty has released a liquid contour. And then Physicians Formula came out with a double-ended stick that has a blush on one side and a bronzer on the other. And they're also multi-use sticks. You can use it like on the eyes and lips too. But those look really beautiful. And I've been seeing a lot of the comments on it of you saying that the Physicians Formula multi-sticks looked so nice. So definitely curious to try out this mascara. I don't always love trying new mascaras nights that I'm going to be out because I'm like, oh, what if this ends up all over my face? But you know what? It's also kind of a great time to try it. I am taking one of my girlfriends. Her name is Miranda. She goes by /beauty. Oh, poked myself on YouTube and Instagram. But she lives in Vegas and she's a fellow like music lover like myself. So we're going to Mariah Carey together. And I literally just texted her and was like, I'm filming a full face like new makeup. So if it looks terrible, don't judge me. Don't judge me. The things we do to give you the review. Adding on the mascara to the top lashes. I don't do brown mascara a lot. I know that it's been trending for a minute. But I usually like black mascara because I like my lashes to be a lot darker because I don't have like amazing natural lashes. They're not very dark, they're not very long, they're not very full, they're not very girl, they're not very anything. So I feel like I always need a lot of help when it comes to mascara, and I just feel like I need a darker one. But I actually think this is the first brown mascara I've tried like in a minute. Okay, my first thoughts on this one, I've only done one coat and this is nice. It gives it a bit of curl, definitely gives it length and volume. Again, to me, I almost just wish it was like a little bit darker, but that's pretty, but I mean, it's a brown mascara, so like, just stick with me. But that's pretty. I'm very curious to see how it wears because I did just talk about the L'Oreal Big Deal mascara in my Shop My Stash video, and I was saying that the first time I tried it, I was like, oh, this is so beautiful, but it gets all over my face. And I think it's funny because, what was one of the last videos I did? I think it was the Will I Buy It video. I'm wearing that mascara in it, and you can just see throughout the video more and more mascara like transferring to my under eyes. And I was like, yep. As I was watching back and editing, I was like, oh dear. So again, we will see how this holds up through a concert. I'm really excited to see Mariah Carey. That is not something, like, she's just like an artist I never really thought that I would have the opportunity to see. And so, you know, even though Wednesday at 8 p.m. is a little, you know, I'm usually in bed at like 9. So it was a little bit of a late night for me on a school night, but I'm still excited to go see her because I just didn't think I would get this opportunity. But do you have an artist that you're like, oh, I just couldn't like pass this up? I would love to know. Trying to get plastic off of lip liners is just really something. I swear it's been like a half hour and I've been trying to get this off, but we finally got it. So from L'Oreal, we are going to try their Color Rich lip liner. This one is in the shade Worth It. It says it's an anti-feathering lip liner. Worth It, it says 601 on here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm just going to lightly fill them in. It's so funny. Do you have makeup that like the smell reminds you of something? Because for me, this L'Oreal lip liner smells like my grandma. Oh, that's so funny. Like as soon as I started applying it, I thought of her. I used to go in and steal her makeup all the time. So that was too funny. That's really pretty though. Very pink, so I feel like it goes with this girly look that we have going on. But that felt nice. Creamy, easy to apply. We'll see how it lasts. It says anti-feathering, so we shall see. But also my Beautylicious Lucky Bag, I got this gloss from Wayne Goss, and this is in Hibiscus. Ooh, so this one is, I would say a little bit more on like the peachy champagne side. It also has that smell like a lip plumper. I don't feel anything yet, but it has that kind of like minty smell to it. It almost looks a little bit more metallic on the lips, which I guess is kind of like Mariah Carey vibes as well. I don't really love a metallic lip, like a shimmery lip I don't mind. But this one definitely appears to be a little bit more on the metallic side, so we'll see how I like it. But that is going to wrap it up for this video. So the Lawless foundation, I'm actually more impressed with than I thought I was going to be. So I think the way that I applied it really helped with that. I like the Ilia Beauty bronzer. That was my first time trying this one. I think the look with the Natasha palette. I mean, Natasha has just one of my favorite formulas. Love her eyeshadow palettes, and I love me some good purple looks. So really liking this eye look. The Physician's formula mascara looks good. The lip duo, the only thing I wasn't like so sure about was the Benefit brow pen, but I'm gonna try it a few more times and just see if I can get the hang of it. I also wonder, they did send me 3.5. I wonder if maybe it's just like too, I wonder if it's maybe just like too light. I don't know, but again, I don't know if I'm gonna love having to use like, because I feel like it's great for the rest of my brow, so I don't know. Jury is still out on that one. But other than that, I will link everything in my description box and the YouTube shopping button if there's anything you're interested in. I would love to get your feedback on pink color jobs, and I'll see you in the next one.